welcome back. We're gonna jump right into it here. Alright, so we left off. We had just gotten to Kwuaq Yaku, this town. So we met this girl, and she told us there's some ruins that's nearby, and we said we're gonna go check them out. So we're gonna kind of do that, but we're also gonna explore this town because there is a lot of stuff we can do. Okay, guess we're gonna sit back down at here. Yeah. Ooh, this is the new bow I just got. I can probably upgrade the whole thing right now, to be honest. So I've got so much. Look at that. I've got 60 items. Yeah, to be completely honest, I barely needed to upgrade any items because I think I mentioned this in the last video. The equipment that they give you for pre-ordering the Croft Steelbook edition was really good. So I never really used anything else. However, the hold time and the damage on this is ridiculously high. What do I have equipped right now? Ugh. I mean, see, this bow has some pretty... I was using this before. This is a good bow. Good rate of fire, good draw speed. But this might be the one to use. Not very long draw speed, but pretty powerful. Yeah, we'll give it a try. Why not? I'm gonna switch back to this pistol. I'm good on guns for now. And we're good on everything else. Outfits. I don't know if I want to switch up my outfits right now. Alright. Moving along. Steal some salvage. Well, it's not really stealing, it's just out in the open. I don't know, it's kind of like stealing. It's just like I'm gonna totally walk in this person's house. Oh wait, no I'm not.
Omar. They've been working all night.
And? Isn't that what they're paid for? Get lost.
It's on.
Shit.
Oh,
No.
damn.
Now fuck off and let me watch the damn game.
What is that?
Sure would be great to get these thieves out of here.
Everything all right?
No, it's all terrible, as usual. These pillagers come to town, hire us to dig up our own relics, don't even pay us a living wage.
And then they run off with them and profit.
We are all desperate here. There's no work since Porvenir pulled out. We're sitting ducks.
And I imagine the storm hasn't helped matters.
What little we had is gone or underwater. I don't know what to do anymore.
I have some experience with these kinds of people. Maybe I can help.
I don't know what good it'll do. Did I catch your name?
Lara.
I'm Victor. If you want to talk to Omar, the executive lead tormentor in charge of theft and pillaging, he's in there.
Thanks.
Be careful. He doesn't like to be challenged.
Well, Omar doesn't know how many people I've killed in this quest. Killed a lot of people. It's the dark side of Lara. Like, between the beginning of this series and now, Lara's probably killed like 500 people. It's a lot.
But I'd really like to do something special for her.
I mean, she has to do what she needs to survive, and these are bad people, but, you know, then again, killing people should weigh on her conscience. I mean, death is not something a lot of people take lightly, that's for sure. I mean, look at, I know that's the guy. Oh, whoops. I had to go talk to that a-hole that kicked the other guy. Then I gotta go talk to that guy.
Piss off.
Who are you? Looking for work?
Um,
Well, you're out of luck. We have enough people. Marco's in charge of HR now anyway.
yes, thank you. Do you know where he is?
Where else? The bar.
Alright. Meantime, we're gonna see what you got over here, buddy. You have any pickups? Huh? I want to know how they're getting, like, television out here. I think that might be the only guy that has it.
All full up.
We're in the middle of the Peruvian jungle, like, middle of almost nowhere. These people are living in huts, and somehow that guy has TV? What the hell? Lucky son of a gun.
Find someone to replace you. Oh, what? Those sites are dangerous, Marco. Anything can happen.
I'm looking for Marco.
Why? For what?
I just want to talk to him.
He doesn't want any trouble.
I'm not looking for trouble. I'm looking for work.
Work? Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
So, you're Marco?
Tell me Omar didn't send you here to mess with me? If any of those animals hurts my son,
Marco, I'm not with Omar. Believe me. What's this about your son?
I blew out my knee, so Omar took Pablo to replace me at the dig site. Said I was HR now and that it was my job to find a replacement. Otherwise...
Otherwise, he'd keep working your son.
Yeah. I'm worried he's just gonna keep Pablo up there, even if I bring him someone.
Well, it's a good thing you've just hired someone.
You? Really? You do that?
We wouldn't want to disappoint the boss, would we?
Thank you. If you see Pablo, please tell him I'm here.
So, you might have noticed by now, every time we interact with someone, they have basically the same face, just different, like, accentuating features like their head and stuff. I've really started to notice this now. Like, that last guy we talked to, like, up ahead, and this guy look almost identical. Except, like, they have different hair and different clothes. Like, they just took one working model of the men and just reused it. Which, I mean, I guess is okay. But it's kind of lazy. Ooh, hello. I don't know. If you have to cut corners somewhere to push a game... I mean, no one's really going to notice except for probably someone like me. It's just like, okay. But they have Lara's interactions with each individual person unique, so it's like, well, if you're... I mean, I understand that anything with Lara needs to be probably better than anything with these side characters, but... I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too picky. We just gonna walk in this lady's house.
Thank you for grace. Please help us move beyond the hurdles that trip us up, and give us the strength and wisdom to look up and see the hope we run toward in Christ. Alright,
we're gonna try not to get in the water yet, even though there's a survival cache underneath me. I can can feel it. Whenever a survival cache is nearby, my controller rumbles. Alright, I don't think there's anything in there. We have plenty of salvage. See, the game gives you so much extra stuff in this game mode. It's almost like ridiculous.
Well, when the Lord gives you fish, you make ceviche, right? Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but this one.
I know we're missing stuff. We're just kind of roaming around right now. We got that side quest to do. I know where it is. It's just a matter of going to go do it. I think it's like up this way. Or something. Take your oil though. Aha. Take your wood. And we'll take your burial doll replica. Alright, we're out of here. What's up, Home Slice? What's up, kitties? Alright, we actually have to go in here. This will be a pretty easy challenge to get. You just gotta pick some plants from underwater. See, it's easy when some of these challenges are pretty obvious. A couple of them I had to do were not very obvious. You had to kind of just, like, guess as to what I think it's gonna be. Like, I think the last challenge I had to get in the game was actually quite difficult to do unless you accidentally did it. Where we're using your survival instincts quite a bit, which, again, the game wants you to use, but sometimes you're just gonna miss stuff. It's just inevitable in a game like this, especially the challenges. I remember in, like, Rise of the Tomb Raider, I didn't even finish all the challenges in that game. There were just so many, and it was so hard to find them. And there were so many. Like, one of them was, like, shoot a bunch of bullseyes or something. I don't know.
Someone has barricaded the path.
You know what we do with that? We make a fire arrow. And we light that candle. Oh, look at this. Give me some more cloth. I'm gonna craft a couple arrows too. Get ourselves up to 30. Right. Ooh, a secrets map. Very cool. Alright, I think that's the only thing in this room. There's a mural here. Okie dokie. Cool.
Looks like the bridge is out.
Oh shit, dope. Well, we messed that up. Alright, let's try that again.
Oh God, no!
There we go. Jeez, I was not paying any attention. I was like, I'll just pull the stick a little bit. Nope, dead. That's a pretty gruesome way to die, right? Like, when Lara falls into spikes, she just gets, like, impaled in multiple different ways. Like, it almost is, like, the people at Crystal were like, you know, we're gonna take some, ideas from,
This room has fared better than the rest of the
Mortal
cabin, it
Kombat on some of
seems.
these, like, deaths that Lara happens to run into. So if she dies, we want this to be gruesome. It's like, okay, I guess. Like when you fall into the spikes, it reminds me a lot of in Mortal Kombat. If you on the pit level in Mortal Kombat 2011, Mortal Kombat 9, if you fall into spikes, you just get like impaled in like 3 different places. It's kind of what happens when Lara gets impaled, which is not, you know, ideal. All right, we just got some boots. I can't equip it until I'm at the, what's it called? I think that's everything in this this crypt. This isn't a very big crypt. A very long crypt. Very easy to miss that. Alright. Barely grab that. Jeez. Alrighty. Oh, fudge. Oh, there's the spikes. Oops. Alright, let's try that again. I don't know what she was doing exactly. Just inked. I really need to go back and play the last 2 Tomb Raiders. Usually when a game like this comes out, an action adventure game, I tend to go back and replay the games prior that came out to get myself like reacquainted with the series again and keep it fresh. I just did not do that this time around. I was busy playing other games. So many games I have to get through on my backlog at this point in time. This is like, we're in, currently it's the end of September 2018, and I'm like, I've started some games. I need to get back to a couple of them. But you know, I started and finished Spider-Man, so that was a game I got done with, and technically I've beaten this. But like the next games I have on my radar coming out are we're at what, end of September right now, so the next game I'm getting is coming out next week, I think. Next week, Friday, a week from Friday. Mega Man 11 for the Nintendo Switch. I'm gonna get that game. I already have Mega Man Legacy Collection 1+2 for the Switch, and Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1+2. So might as well get the new Mega Man as well on that console. Then I don't know. There's, I think like Super Mario Party comes out or something like that soon, and then at the end of October we've got Red Dead Redemption 2, which is the next game I'll be playing on Xbox. Next new game on Xbox. There's not a lot of games on Xbox. I am fully aware. Exclusives or exciting games to play. Especially this fall. There's really not a lot at all. Don't want to go that way. There's like Red Dead Redemption 2, which is multi-platform, so it's not really a big deal if you get it on Xbox. But there's no exclusives coming out on Xbox. Maybe I could argue there's like no it's Xbox is kind of like, when people say you really don't need an Xbox, you really don't. Unless you know you're a diehard Halo fan or
All
Gears
full
of
up.
War fan.
Can't carry anymore.
That's like the only two exclusives on this console, which is one reason I wish that Microsoft and Xbox would start getting more exclusive games or creating new IPs, because they just, you know, but I just don't think, clearly Sony, it is that they have really good IPs, like, you know, they got Naughty Dog makes really good games, right? We got Last of Us, and Uncharted. They're more known for those at this point. And then you've got games like, you know, the people at Sucker Punch making games. They're the ones who were responsible for the Sly Cooper games, and Infamous. And then they're also coming out with a new game coming out this fall, or next spring. I don't remember what it is. But a lot of these games that I play, I play it on Xbox. Like, a lot of the online type games I'm playing on Xbox. Like, for the long time, you know, during the 360 era, there was, the Xbox was known as the online console, not the PlayStation. So, everybody I knew in high school and dating back, we played Xbox. There's just so many more people playing. But since, I think the Kinect really turned people off, like, and the whole entertainment center vibe that the Xbox provides really turned people off to Xbox. People just did not care, and there was no really good games, which I understand. If you get typically people are buying gaming consoles not as like an entertainment center to watch like Netflix and stuff. They're buying it to play games. At least that's why I buy consoles. I don't buy consoles just to watch Netflix, even though I do a good chunk of that with my consoles because it's just convenient. But it's not a necessity. Alright, there's something else down here. But I better get some. Ooh, here we go. That's my rant about consoles. I don't know, it's like, we're in a weird time right now with video games. Visually, they look about as most impressive as they'll ever look. And people just really want to play games that are like Fortnite. Which I could care less. Or I couldn't care less, rather. My bad. Could not care less about Fortnite or any of the Battle Royale games. I just don't have a lot of time anymore. A lot of my friends don't really play Xbox anymore. They're all playing PC, and I don't really have a PC to play games on. So that's why I'm playing console games. Dad and I've been playing console games like my whole life. I never really was a big computer game person. Like, I'd played games on the computer, but they weren't like standard computer games. They were very like, we had the MAME arcade machine emulator, and we just played Pac-Man and games like that on our MAME cabinet thing emulator. And my sister and I, so we had a blast with that. You know, it was great. But we don't. I don't recall playing a lot of games PC specific. I remember playing a Harry Potter game like years and years ago. Like Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That was on PC that I owned at some point. I don't know. But I didn't play a lot of like Doom or Wolfenstein or even like Quake or anything. I didn't even start playing like actual computer games that were developed like by third parties for computer until like high school, pretty much. One of my buddies we used to play games all the time because he had a computer, and that's what we did. We had an Xbox and we had computers, so it was like, oh, hey, try out this game, and I'm like, oh, okay. That was like my first experience to Age of Empires.
This describes something nearby. Take a deep breath and find me right under another's nose.
I know where this is at. Alright, so we're just kind of exploring right now, you know, just doing our own thing. We're gonna go down here. Unlock this treasure box. But I just don't really, because all my friends don't really play Xbox anymore. I don't really play a lot of online anymore. You know, and it's easier, and it's a lot easier to kind of, if I want to play a game, it's a lot easier for me to play like a single player game and just kind of come back to it whenever I want, right? Whereas like if I play an online game, it's like I have to be playing in that match like at this certain time. And I have to be like, you know, sure, I could like fall in and out, but you're like, if I need to like go to the bathroom or something, it's a lot easier to do when you're in a single player game and you don't have to worry about, oh shoot, sorry, I can't go right now because I'm in the middle of a game. But I will say, one of the things that I think really hurt Microsoft, other than, you know, not having original IPs on their console, really, except for Gears and Halo, which, again, they're really good, but they're not that good. They have games like Crackdown, but goddamn, Crackdown has taken ages to come out. We're talking so long, to the point where I don't think anybody even cares anymore. People that did care about Crackdown, it's like, who cares? They shown it off, I think, at E3 2015. Here we are at the end of 2018. The game still isn't out yet. I'm almost convinced that the game will never come out. Like, we're talking like, this thing's been in development for well over 3 years. What is the big deal? And no one's gonna buy it because nobody plays Xbox. Everybody has a PlayStation 4. So people who are going to buy this, all this time that they've spent trying to develop this game, it's not going to get any kind of reward they're looking for. It's very strange. Very, very strange. But Microsoft really needs to start getting new IPs and you know, trying to get people back to Xbox. The only reason I have this Xbox One X is because my Xbox I had before died on me. It just crashed one day, and it never came back. So, and this happened like about a year ago now, right around the time this One X came out. So I was like, well, I'll just wait about a month and get the One X, I guess, because I don't have an Xbox, but I have all these Xbox games. I don't want to sell any of them because a lot of them were like Halo and Gears of War and stuff, so I wasn't very much going to get rid of them because I like to play those games. But otherwise, I mean, I totally understand people buying PS4. There's just so many more games on there to play if you're more of a single player type gamer like me. You know, you got Uncharted and you've got Killzone, which is a very good series. Trying to think what else. This new Spider-Man game was really good. Horizon Zero Dawn, people have said, is very, very good. That's on my to-do list. I really want to play that game because it looked very, very good.
Did you hear? They're forcing our kids to work now. We should do something. Those guys pushed Marco so hard, he can barely walk.
If we don't do something,
One of the things I'll mention as we're heading off to this, yeah,
It's
I was trying to kind of talk through it. I've just been kind of, you know, exploring and checking out stuff while we kind of talk in the background. But one of the things I'll kind of mention that it's always kind of like a debate within myself, is that I firmly believe that if a series started on a console specifically, you should stay on that console playing it. Now, an exception to that rule right now has been this Tomb Raider. Now, the first time I ever played this new Tomb Raider series, I started it on PS3 like years ago when it came out, like in 2013. I played it on PS3. I don't know why exactly. I just did. And it was really fun. And then they released the definitive edition like a year after that, when they fixed Lara's face because it looked really goofy.
Oh my god.
Please help me.
Are you okay?
You're coming after me?
Are you Pablo?
Jess.
It's okay. Your father sent me. He's at Abby's. Go meet him there. I'll take care of these guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Aw.
Get out of here.
You don't want to see what comes next, kid. There's going to be some killing. But I'm a firm believer, if you start a series on a console, you stick with it. That's the main reason why I am keeping going with the series. So when the definitive edition of Tomb Raider came out on Games for Gold, I just picked it up. I was like, well, hell yeah, I'll play that again. And then I got that, and then about, I don't know, almost a year ago, I had yet to play Rise of the Tomb Raider, even though it was a timed release to Microsoft before it got released to everybody. I think it was 2015 or 16. They released it with the 20th anniversary of Tomb Raider. I think it was like 96 or 97 Tomb Raider 1 came out.
What the hell got into it? Used to bring us 10 people a week. Ask me.
So then I picked that up because it came with all the downloadable content.
Wow.
Fucking snowflake.
And then I'm gonna take this guy out.
Are the fines here even worth it?
They are on the black market.
True. Almost 100% markup. Whatever you get for them.
Oh shit! You gotta be careful here. So then I got that on the digital store, Xbox store, and so we got that. But now here we are. I'm like, well, obviously I'm gonna be getting this on Xbox because I already have the other 3 games on Xbox. Why would I not get it?
Bullshit generator. Why is this always breaking?
Oh shit! Actually, that reminds me.
The generator's broken again. Fix it. Fuck you.
Alright, we're gonna take this can. We're gonna throw it over here.
What now?
Just to lure that guy away.
I don't like this.
Alright, that guy's distracted. We're
Calling it in.
oh, mother! That was not what we wanted to do. But we got lucky, I think. Alright. So back to this discussion about firm believer of if you start with a console, with a series, you stick with it. So, perfect example, Devil May Cry. The Devil May Cry games, 1, 2, and 3, all came out exclusively to the PS2. They did not come out on any other console. So, I didn't actually play them. I tried to play it like way back in the day. And it didn't work. This was back when you had to rent games from the store. So later I ended up getting the. Oh, seriously? I'm gonna go around.
Fire! Check it out! Got a flanker!
All full up. Can't carry any more.
There's only that last guy left. Looks that way. But then, so I got the Devil May Cry HD collection, and for PS3, I played through them all. They were all very good. And then I played... Here's somebody walking around. Where is he? Sorry, I keep getting off track. Alright, I'm gonna totally...
Negative on search.
Copy that!
I get it. You can't handle it when it gets messy.
Search is negative! Where is she?
See if we can take both of these a-holes down at once.
I have to look for you.
Alright, the only reason I'm like been attacking these guys with all these different like pickups is because of there's an achievement for it, so. Alright, back to Devil May Cry. So, when Devil May Cry 4 came out, I ended up that came out on both consoles. PS4 or PS3 and 360. So I was like, well, I've already been playing all these on PlayStation. Why would I get it on Xbox? So I got it on PlayStation. Very fun. Would recommend. Then, when the DMC Devil May Cry came out, like 2014 maybe, I also got that for PlayStation, so I was like, well, I've got all this on PlayStation, why would I get it on Xbox? Even though I have an Xbox and a PlayStation. Maybe I'm just weird about stuff like that. I don't know anybody else that is really like, it came out on this system, this is the way you should be playing this game, is with this like controller and with a Sony console, because that's what it was originally developed for. But, you know, to each his own, I guess. Like, that's just what I do. For one series I need to get back to, I started Demon Souls on PS3 a while back. And it's pretty tough, but I started it, and then I got kind of stuck, and then I never got back to it.
Gather your things and go back to the village.
But that game was like the, I don't know, I want to say it was the spiritual predecessor of Demon Souls, or not, I'm sorry, Dark Souls. Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and Bloodborne, I guess, technically. That game was made by From Software. But because that game was exclusive to PlayStation, you can only play it on PS3. Even to this day, you can only play it on PS3. They haven't made a remaster for it, or a HD remake, or whatever. I felt like, well, I've already started playing this series on this console, so when they're coming out with the Dark Souls trilogy here in about a month or so, and I'm just going to buy it for the PS4 because I've yet to play like any of the Dark Souls games. And they already have like Bloodborne for PS4, so I figure I'll just get all of these games on a PlayStation console and play them all that way. Even though I know Dark Souls is, you can get it on PC or on Xbox, but I don't know, because Demon Souls was on PlayStation, I wanted to stick with the, you know, this was made for PlayStation, just kind of stick with that vein. But again, I might just be weird when it comes to stuff like that. I don't know anybody else that's very series console specific. It's the same thing, kind of, it's very weird when it comes to like a game like Mega Man. However, because like Mega Man X was out on Super Nintendo. Mega Man X, X2, X3. Even though getting X2 and X3 now is very hard to do unless you have the Legacy Collection. And then Capcom started releasing them on the PlayStation. X4, 5, and 6, I believe, were all on PlayStation. And then I think, yeah, I think so. And then 7 and 8 were on PS2. X8, X7. So it's like, well, because half of them were released on, more than half were on a PlayStation console, would you want to play it on PlayStation or would you want to play it on Nintendo? The way I foresee that is that, well, I mean, I would want to play at least the original games, the games on the original hardware they were presented on, if you can. But like, the original Mega Man series was like 1 through 6 was all on the NES, and then Mega Man 7 was on the Super Nintendo, and they've made now 11 core Mega Man games as of this fall. So it's like, well, when X8 came out, it was only on PlayStation. And I think Sega Saturn, maybe? Which was kind of strange. And then 9 and 10 were digital only. So it's like, well, what would you play it on? Well, technically, I'd play it on the Switch, is what I'm going to end up doing. Because they all were on a Nintendo console, and finally, for the first time, they all are available on a Nintendo console. Again, especially 7. Like, being able to, or especially 8, being able to play 8, 9, and 10 on a Nintendo console is really interesting to me. Because it's like, that's where Mega Man started, was on the NES, right? It just seems like it's a title synonymous with that brand of console. But some people are going to say, well, what about Legends and Legends 2 and 64 and all the Game Boy games? Well, that's another thing. All of like the Mega Man Game Boy games and the Game Boy Advance games, those are Nintendo handhelds. Like, I don't think they were releasing a lot of games, if any, for the PSP or the Vita for Mega Man. That's just a very Nintendo brand, even though you can play all of the games on like a Sony console or an Xbox or PC. I don't know. Might be a little weird, but whatever. That's just me. If anybody agrees with me, feel free to let me know in like the comments when I upload this to YouTube. Like, do you only play certain games on certain consoles? Now, granted, if it is an exclusive, like you can't play it anywhere else, well, clearly you don't have any other option. So that's a different story altogether. Like Gears of War, you can't play Gears of War on anything except Xbox or PC, which I don't even think you could play PS or Gears 2 or Gears 3 on PC, but that's besides the point. Or Halo, right? You can't play Halo unless you have an Xbox console. If they ever made Halo available for a different console, or Fable, right, then would more people play it? I don't know. These are big franchises that are considered to be system sellers. Like, people buy these games specifically, or buy these systems specifically because they have these games on it. I know I bought my, I specifically bought a PS3 when I finally ended up getting one. Oops, I'm not gonna use that. I specifically bought a PS3 because I wanted to play God of War 3, which was the very first game I ended up buying. I got to the PS3 game really late because I had, growing up, we didn't have like, my parents didn't have a lot of money, or if we did, we weren't like buying consoles. It was more like we had to, you know, if you use your own money to buy your own consoles and stuff, which was fine. So I ended up buying my own 360 when I was in like 8th grade or something, and I love it. But it was like, that was the main console we had. That, and we had the Wii. My sister had that. That was like her present or whatever. But that was 2 consoles in one house. Now, when so my parents are divorced. So growing up, you know, we didn't have. I don't think I have enough to buy anything here. Okay, going back. We didn't. So at my dad's house, I got a PS2 like a long time prior to getting the 360. We're talking like a few years prior. And it's a great console. I didn't end up playing a lot of games that I I ended up missing out on these series. Like, I didn't play like Ratchet and Clank or Jack or Killzone or, you know, I played Sly Cooper. But that was more of a cartoony thing, right? I was kind of younger. But I missed out on a lot of these, like Devil May Cry. I didn't play a lot of these like really good PS2 games. I was, you know, into the sports games more, which, you know, is fine. But because of that, yeah, I missed out on a lot. But that was the only console we had at my dad's house, so I only played that. Now, when I graduated high school, the summer right after that, one of my buddies sold me his PS3, and I knew that was the console I've been wanting for a long, long time, because when I saw that God of War 3 came out, I really, really wanted it because it looked amazing and it was hyped up so much. And I had already played God of War 1 and 2, and I loved them. That's one of my favorite gaming franchises of all time. And I ended up, when I finally got that, I'm like, okay, the very first game I'm getting for this console is going to be God of War 3. I've been waiting years for it to come out, because the PS3 came out in like 2007 or something. It's like a long time, and I didn't get one until like 2012. So this console had been out for years prior to me ever getting it. So I missed out on a lot of games, even on the PS3 era, which I'm still trying to catch up on. Oh, this is the monolith I just solved right here, under the nose. So, it's like right there under this guy's nose. What was I talking about? PS2. Yeah, so I had that. So I didn't get the PS3 game till way late. And I played God of War 3, and it was visually one of the best games I've ever played. Even to this day. Like, I had yet to play a game that the cinematic cutscene transition to gameplay was flawless, to the point where I didn't even realize I was playing the game or in control of my character for like at least 5 seconds, and I was getting beat up. I'm like, oh crap, I'm actually moving around. Like, whoa, it was an amazing experience. Yeah, nowadays it's probably like, wow, that was PS3. It's like, yeah, that was the PS3. That was the oh crap moment. Like, wow, this looks so real. Was on the PS3. And even today, like I'll go back and play. Sure, you can go back and play like God of War on the remastered edition on like PS4, and yeah, it looks better. I think the frame rate's a little better. Like, I think they improved it to 60 frames instead of 30, but at the time, like, we're talking like 1080p 30 frames is still, even today, a really good looking. Like, this game I know is only being streamed at 720p, but like I'm playing it on a 4K HDR true experience on this Xbox One X, and I can honestly say, like, it's amazing how detailed and excellent this game looks now. And how far games have really come. Like, they just keep getting better and better and visually more stunning. It's just so cool.
I can't figure out what this means.
Oh yeah, I can't do this right now. Alright, so we're in a completely different area now. So we've got... Looks like we've got the merchant. We've gotten most of the stuff around here for now. We've got a good chunk. A lot of the stuff we can't get yet. Or I just didn't find it. Oh, I gotta go back and finish up that side quest. Oh, well, we'll get to that eventually. I've been rambling on, just kind of talking about stuff. I don't know where I was going with that last story with the God of War. I don't know. But that's... So, I haven't really had... I've been playing catch-up on the Sony consoles for a long time. And then now I just recently bought a PS4 Pro in the spring just to play God of War 4, the newest God of War. So no matter what, apparently Sony keeps selling me on these consoles by giving me God of War and knock over these totems. I forgot about that. But hey, you know what? Each new God of War that comes out, except for Ascension. Ascension was not that good. There's a warthog. I can shoot him if I wanted to, but I don't really need to. There's a survival cache over here somewhere. Oh, this is where the monolith wants us to get the cache. That might be what it's talking about. Oh, no, it's down here. Alright, I gotta keep my eyes peeled for these totems. Oh, there's another one. They're kind of easy to miss. These ones are probably one of the harder ones to get. You just gotta be careful. Like, just keep your eyes open, right? That's the big part about this game, is if you keep your eyes open and really kind of pay attention to and look around. You know, finding. Here's another one. See, you can barely see this. All right, we're gonna go inside this tomb. Get this shit done. You know you're at a tomb if you start seeing the gold paint on the walls and stuff. There's something over here. Oh, it's just plants. Oh, another one of these, I guess. The last one's out in the main area. I was just in that clearing, so find the issues. But growing up, like, prior to that, the console, our family was primarily Nintendo, right? Nintendo was always kind of the kiddie console, and even today people still think that's the case, which I can understand. It was marketed towards kids, all the way going back to the NES in the 80s. That was marketed mainly to kids, not to really adults. The adults console really wasn't, Nintendo console never really existed until technically the Switch, because the Switch is available for all ages. But I think Nintendo's starting to figure out that the kids who were kids in the 80s, who are now probably in their like early to mid 30s now, that grew up with the NES, they want more out of Nintendo, right? Because they're now in their 30s, and they want, like, they don't want just like kiddie games anymore, which was basically what the Wii was a very kiddie console. With all the motion control, and it was easy to pick up for everybody. You know, granted, it's not just for kids, right? It was kind of a intuitive experience for everybody, but, you know, personally, you know, the Wii is not one of my favorite Nintendo consoles, or just consoles in general. It's fun. There are fun games on it, but now I'm like older. When the Wii was popular, it was like in 2006 and 2007, and yeah, I was probably like 13 at the time. Yeah, the novelty was much more different, but now I'm like, you know, in my early 20s, and I don't want to have to like, go back to a game like Zelda Skyward Sword or Metroid Prime 3 Corruption and like have to swing around this controller in my room, my game room. I just want to be able to sit here with a controller and just play. Not have to move a lot, you know, just kind of relax and do my thing. I don't want to. If I wanted to have a fitness game, then I'd be playing a fitness game. Or I'd be exercising. I would be playing like games to do that. All right, we can't go that way, so we're gonna go this way. This is actually pretty cool. So sorry about my ramblings, people that aren't like into like rambling on and on, but just trying to give some insight. You know, I'm a little new to this kind of, you know, process of playing games and talking to an audience or people in general. That was close. That, and because I'm kind of like a little numb to this experience, and playing a game like this, especially if you're playing it the second time around, you're not really paying much attention to what's going on, because I just beat this game for the first time like a few 5 days ago, so everything's still pretty fresh when I'm playing this new game plus. So I don't really need to think about where everything is or where to look. I'm just kind of doing it. So, trying to keep people entertained, you know, as they watch what I'm doing here, because some of it's just kind of
impossible. I can't carry anymore.
kind of tedious. I understand. Yeah, I get that. It might seem like it's a little
The
boring.
walls are porous. The oil must be seeping through.
Yeah, we're gonna have to kill some wolves here in a minute. But yeah, my first console I ever had was a. I don't know what is this like stuff at the end of my. Oh, an arrow. It's like noxious gas. That's awesome. Alright, I'm gonna get.
Here they come.
Arrowed. So right as they're like attacking me. Oh, where you at, buddy? I'm just hitting the B button to dodge, and then when the prompt comes up, when it gets in the yellow, I just hit Y to kill these guys. Which I think I end up dodge killing every one of these people. Alright, we're all good on skins. See, yeah, this game just gives you so, like, in this difficulty, I think, they just give you so much, like, resources. Like, an obscene amount of resources. Like, you're never short on resources. Although, I did upgrade my, in my skill trees that you'll see from time to time. I haven't really had to upgrade because I don't have enough skill points yet. One of the things is that when you craft, or when you pick up resources, you get more resources. So instead of getting, like, 1 off of a bush, I'll get, like, 3 off of a bush to fill my inventory. And then your inventory can expand and all that jazz. So right now I'm, like, maxed out, and I just don't need to use anything. Like, I've already unlocked, like, all the costumes, and some of the costume, like, buffs you get are just not really that good to warrant, you know, they might look cool. Some of the, getting this, like, Steelbook edition gave me access to exclusive, like, costumes. So, like, I got a couple costumes from, like, Angel of Darkness, that bad game I talked about, I think, a couple videos ago. Tomb Raider. And then there's survival cache.
All full up. Can't carry anymore.
There's like Tomb Raider 1, Tomb Raider 2 pixelated Lara. They got the Tomb Raider 2013 Lara, a survivor. Got all the pickups everywhere.
Votan is an ancient.
Yeah, no, I don't care about Votan. Alright. Ooh, we got enough to upgrade. Alright, let's upgrade this. Ooh, we got an achievement. Alright, so I'm not going to touch these because I don't really care about these. We'll get it when we get them. So I think next we'll probably wrap up the left side. We'll get our Heart of the Jaguar 2 probably, or 3. It doesn't really matter. Alrighty. Now, I don't think there's anything down here. Clearly a bug. And a little container to knock over. Guess we can't go that way.
Sholot, god of death. I'll have to get over there.
Alright. Start this puzzle here.
There's my way across.
Alright, so we just pushed this. So one of the things... Ooh. Okay. Oh, here we go. We need to jump on this thing. And the window pushes over here. And we'll jump off. Watch your language, Lara. Cussing son of a gun. Alright, this starts to get interesting. So, we had to push that. Oh shoot, I just died. They don't show you much there. That could have been so much more gruesome. But basically, like, Lara fell down, broke her leg, which is kind of funny. Because, I mean, it's a long way down there. I can understand how she would break her leg. Oh, here we go. Oh, apparently I didn't get credit for that? That's stupid. Trying to think what I have to do here. Oh, I know. That's why I was just had to get over here. So I gotta come over here. When this thing gets pulled this way, I need to pull it so it can bump into this debris. There we go. Oh shit, nope, not doing that. Alright, so we gotta jump back over here. They don't call them puzzles for nothing, huh? Alright, so we gotta close that. Come over here. Cross, because otherwise we were gonna get blown right off. It was kind of foreshadowing what they ended up doing to us before we came into here when we were on that log and we just got blown off. So now we're on here. We can't do anything with this. So what I need to do is climb up here, which this took me forever to figure out what the hell I needed to do the first time. So come over here. So we can't pull that lever because it's like blocked by this debris. So what we need to do is we got to get like right next to this, so we can attach that. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna like jump on this a little bit. Come over here, drop down.
Now to get that other pendulum moving.
Ooh, this starts swinging. Now we'll come back over here. Open this door again. This is gonna blow this debris, and then it's gonna pull with our rope that off. Yep, right, just like that. And then we'll close this again because we can't cross if we don't close it. You might be able to hear the wolves in the background barking. They're waiting for Lara to mess up. And that's it. We did it. Yay! We're all full on gold, which you have to sell with the merchants. Alright, that's that tomb done. Okie dokie.
The wind stopped howling.
It's because it knew.
Time to get out of here.
Turn on the instincts one more time just to make sure I've got everything. Yeah, if you ever get confused as to what you should be doing in this game, you know, feel free to use survival instincts if you're on this normal difficulty. They are very helpful. I just don't use them. I'm trying not to use them a whole lot, get myself prepared for the next hardest difficulty. Another one of these things. Alright, so what we could do is we could just warp from the fast travel, but I'm gonna go this way, I guess. I'm gonna go out the way the game wants you to go, in case we missed any pickups, which I don't think so, but I guess you can never be too careful. So first console I ever had, Super Nintendo. I was really young, about 2 years old.
Impossible. I can't carry anymore.
Had that for a long time. I remember one of the first games I've ever played, and still my favorite Mario game to this day, is Super Mario World. Very, very good game. What the hell do I do now? Oh. And had that until probably like from 94 to like 99, I would guess, if I had to surmise. And then I got a Nintendo 64 for my like 5th or 6th birthday. And I love that console. I still have my original N64 in the house right now. I don't know if it would be my favorite console. Maybe. It's close. I really like the Super Nintendo as well. That's a really good console. Lots of good games on it. We had that, but so like in the even until like the early to mid 2000s, I would even say until like 2010, honestly, or 2012. The main way you got games, at least me growing up, games were still kind of expensive, like they are today. They were like $40 to $60 a game. Even for like Game Boy games, those were like $20, and still like that for a Game Boy game, that was kind of expensive. Nowadays it's just kind of like, oh, $20, like the Pokemon costs that much. Well, yeah, I know Pokemon costs that much, but this is what games would cost. So it was a lot cheaper to be able to say, okay, let's go to like the video rental store and rent a game for X amount of days, and then I can just play it. I don't know if that was a good or a bad thing in retrospect growing up. Probably wasn't the best, but basically then the way I saw it was like, okay, let's say it's $5 to rent a game for 5 days. That means you've got 5 days to beat some of these N64 games before you have to give it back. So what I would end up having to do was I would... Oh, here we go. I would rent these games, and then I would try to beat them within 5 days. If I didn't already own the game, right? So if I didn't, obviously if I owned the game, I wouldn't be renting it. So I would like go rent games and rent them for like 5 days, and then I would beat them. And I did that for years, all the way until we ended up getting a GameCube, and I still did that. Went and rented games, and it was very, very difficult because some of these games were really long. And, you know, when you're in school, like, you still don't have a lot of time to... Alright, that works. You still don't have very much time to, like, play these games. Like, 5 days, it's like, typically I would, like, rent a game on, like, a Friday night. We'd go to the video store on, like, a Friday. I would rent the game, and then that would give me, like, Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and then possibly Monday, Tuesday before I'd have to give it back. By Wednesday. So, usually I would just beat these games over a weekend, literally within 3 days. Which was insane. But I still ended up doing it. Because you were on a time limit, and it was like, well... I remember one of the games I used to rent very frequently back when Blockbuster was around was Gears of War 1. I rented that game probably 3 times, and I was just at the point where it's like, you know, I'm renting this game like almost like every other time I come here. I should just buy this because it starts to add up. You know, when you're buying like when you're renting the same game over and over again, it's like, and that game, you know, the story is really good, but the it was mainly just to play multiplayer, to be honest. I was like, this multiplayer is just so much damn fun. Like, I love this game. So I just kept renting it. And then I eventually bought it, and I still have it in my collection now. And then, you know, after a while, you know, renting games started to become, I don't really want to say a nuisance. It was just kind of like, it just kind of trickled off because it got to the point where you had to pay like $6 to $8 to rent a game for like 4 days. Like, they started really dropping off on how long you could rent these games for. So I was like, this is dumb. Why would I even, you know? And some these games started to get much, much longer, right? Like an average game now is probably like 12 to 20 hours long. So you just can't, I mean, unless you have like, you're spending so much time. Like, let's say I rented a game for 4 days and it was like Gears of War 3. Well, that game takes like at least 12 hours to play if you're watching the cutscenes. And it's just very time consuming. So it's like, that's 12 hours of gameplay. That doesn't even include multiplayer or anything. That's just a story. So a lot of these story games I would play for, I would have to rent like multiple times because I just didn't, there just wasn't enough time in the rental time to finish the game. So eventually got to the point where I was like, well, I might as well just save up my money and spend like the $50, $60 to just buy these games. And then I can play them whenever I want, right? That was huge.
Trinity's really on edge.
Excuse me.
Still, if they're here, they're ahead of us. At least it means I'm on some sort of track. If Dominguez is right, and the sun is dying, I have to get to that box before he does.
Alright, well, so we just finished the tomb. We've got 2 of the 3 challenges done, I believe. Oh, we got all the challenges done. Oh, okay, that works. So the challenges, just to briefly go over, were collect 5 plants from underwater, shoot the 5 barrels around, which, because That would just seem really strange because it was out of place. And then you got to shoot the 5 little, I don't know what the hell they were called. The things that are in the bushes, the little hangy things. Which we got all that done too. So now we've only got like a few more things to grab. We'll grab this survival cache. We're not gonna get right now because eventually we'll have to like. We gotta go like this way around back to here. We could probably get this survival cache in this document. Yeah, see, we've gotten pretty much everything. We're missing a few murals. But a lot of the stuff, well, there's one like right here. But I'm not gonna go that way yet because there's like mud and it's kind of annoying. So we're gonna go back this way. And yeah, sure, this is a good place to hunt and just kind of pillage the land, but there's like no real reason to. No, I think I already got the thing that was over here. Alright, we're gonna fall down. Barrel roll. Excuse me. Alright, let's go wrap up that side quest we started. I don't think there's anything else over here. No, okay. Let's go back up here. Yeah, wrap up the side quest and get a bunch of experience. Take some wood, though. But yeah, then we had a GameCube, we had an N64, and then when my parents got divorced, I ended up getting an Xbox shortly there at my mom's house, and then a PS2 at my dad's house. And my PS2 was modded. So what I would end up doing was I would just like, I would rip games. I would go to the rental store and I would like rip games or rent games for like a day, and then I would just like pop them in my computer. I have a DVD writable thing, and then we'd have some scratch discs, so I would just download the MDS file and then just write it to like a burner disk, and then put in my loader and just play them. So basically it was a way to own a game for $1, which, you know, when you're in middle school, high school, and you don't have a lot of money, that was the best way to be spending your money. You basically were getting just games for free, which, again, not very ethical and pretty illegal, but people use emulators all the time now. It's not really, but back then it was a little bit different, right? People use emulators now like all the time, which you're not supposed to be getting the ROMs and, you know, playing these games unless you have the license, right? If you it's not your property to use. I mean, technically, I think you can now. It's acceptable to like rent a game. Like if you buy a game. So I own like all the I own like say Donkey Kong Country 2, for instance. If I were to like, if I had the means to back it up, because now people are very concerned about preserving games now, especially digital games, because a lot of them, when they turn off like the servers, if they're online only, you can't play them anymore. Perfect example is MAG for PS3. You just can't play MAG anymore because that was like online only, and they shut down the MAG servers like a few years ago. So if you can own a copy of that game, but it's irrelevant. You basically just own like a piece of like paper or a piece of plastic. It's not worth anything. It doesn't mean anything because the servers are offline. Same thing with a game like I think like Gotham City Imposters. That was a really crappy like spin-off like shooter game off of the. It basically was. It followed like I think Arkham City shortly thereafter that game, and it was a shooter. Well, you can't play that game anymore. You can't even like find it. A lot of these games you can't even like find anymore. That they're digital only, which is one of the big bummers. That's why I'm a big like believer in owning like physical copies of games, because if something ever happens, like if these, you know, if I lose access to these games digitally, then you lose access. You just can't play them anymore. Now, I don't foresee that happening at this point. They're so ingrained, but you know, some of these games, if you played them and you had a good experience and you want to revisit them in like 5-10 years, then you're probably not gonna be able to because they took them offline. So it's kind of the world we live in right now. It's kind of sad. But I own physical copies of most all of my games. There's a few that are just digital only you can't own, like Towerfall Ascension. That's a digital only game. It's a great game. 4-player battle royale game. But if that game ever, you know, they ever pull it,
I can't carry anymore.
what the f... Okay. I don't know why I just got that. That doesn't make any sense. The one I was missing while we're in here was not Fortune and Glory. It was Metamorphosis. So I don't know. I have no idea why I got that achievement just now. That's very peculiar. We've got 8 of 18, right? We don't have a lot of these. So there's a lot of stuff we have yet to get. How long have I been streaming now? 80 minutes? Oh, Christ. Alright, so we're going to wrap up this side quest here. And then I think... I'm trying to think if I want to keep playing or not.
Pablo told me what you
I
did.
want to take a break.
I don't know what to say, apart from thank you.
Of course.
You know, many years ago when my grandfather was still a boy, men came here and tried to cut down the wilderness around the village. Everyone was afraid to stand up to them, except my grandfather. A 15-year-old boy with an empty gun stood on the edge of the village and held back machines and men twice his size.
Sometimes the courage of one person can outweigh the cowardice of dozens.
I still have the gun he used to hold them back. I'd like you to have it, as a symbol of courage and my gratitude.
Don't you want to give that to Pablo?
My boy wants to be a doctor, like his mother. Say, what's your name anyway?
Lara.
I'll have a new story to tell now, Lara. Thanks again.
So we just got a gun. Well, another reason why you should be doing these side quests. You get tons of experience. Clearly, we just got another skill point. And you'll get weapons and clothes from some of them. Usually they're like, oh, hey, have this. Which is cool. Alright. Well, I'm trying to think if I want to take a break. I probably should. Alright, I'm gonna go back to this campfire. This is usually where we're gonna we end most of ours, right? And I still need 3 for everything, right? Yeah. Everything's expensive now. Alright, I think I'm gonna take a break. That's where we're gonna end this part. I think this is technically a part 4. I don't know what I'm gonna call it. Basically it was explore the village. That's pretty much all we've done, right? We went through this whole area, explored, collected a bunch of stuff, did the challenges, did a tomb, did a crypt, did a side quest. And then when we pick this back up, I'll move ahead here and continue on with the story. Because at this point, there's not a lot of stuff to just kind of do around the town, as far as I know. So we'll continue with the story, and then we'll be getting more pickups along the way, and then we'll just keep on rolling. So Thank everybody for watching. I'm gonna try to upload this hopefully by the end of the day, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how it turns out. But I don't know if I'll be back on later. Maybe. I'm not sure. It's getting kind of late over here on my end, so I don't know if I'm just gonna call it quits for the night or if I'll jump back on later. But we'll see. But for now, thanks for watching, people who are watching. Otherwise, we'll pick this up next time.